Hey, Central Woman Experience ladies, what's going on with you? How are you? How are you? How are you? I'm going to give Facebook just a couple minutes to let you all know that I am here and in the building and we can start talking. I definitely want you all to check this out because tonight I am going to be sharing something really intense and sexy and passionate that is going to ramp up your connection with your partner like that. So I definitely don't want you to miss this. So I'm going to give Facebook just a minute or two to let you all know that I'm here and we can start talking. And also, I did not get a chance to check, hopped on so quickly. I did not get a chance to check to see if you all had any questions or comments about what's been going on with you. So if you did and you're watching this, pop it below in the comments and I will take a look as we are going through the video. So it's not going to be a super long one unless you all have questions about this. And you may have a lot of questions because when I talk to clients about this, they typically ask a lot of questions about what I'm going to share with you all. So feel free, don't be shy because I really want you all to get this technique and start to feel comfortable with it. So if you have any questions, definitely don't be shy and let me know and I will take a look at that. I see someone popped on. Hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. Good to see you. So I'm going to give Facebook just a couple more minutes. What is going on? Okay, so before we jump into tonight's content, I feel like summer is here and I am, hey Melanie, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. So I feel like summer has sprung here in Virginia and I am very excited about that. So I'm a little bit giddier than normal because warm weather is my jam. So okay. So I am going to start diving in. Again, those of you who are catching it on the replay, I know I have quite a few international ladies in the group. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I definitely know that you all may be sleeping, so you won't be able to see this live. So if you have any questions, definitely comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Because this is one of the more juicier things that I work with clients on, and it brings up a lot of emotion for different people. So definitely want you all to ask me any questions if you have them. And I'm going to jump in. Okay, so I see a couple more people have popped on, so that's awesome. So we're going to dive into, and today's video is short and sweet, but highly impactful. So I don't know if any of you, hey Dawn, it's good to see you. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Tantra or not. So I have taken quite a few Tantra classes and workshops, and one of the first things that my teacher did with me was we sat in the Yab Young position. Yab Young, it's Y-A-B-Y-U-M. And what that is basically you and your partner are sitting facing each other and you're really close together, right? So as the woman, your legs are over top of the man's legs, and his legs are, you kind of sit in between his legs, but you're facing each other and your legs are over top of his legs, and his legs, you know, go on the side of your hips by your waist. Okay, so it's a really intimate position, right? And you're sitting in this position and you are facing each other and you're looking into each other's eyes, right? And so what you're doing in this position is soul gazing or eye gazing. And we may have talked about this before. One of the things that when you do this exercise, it is incredibly intense because, you know, they say eyes are the windows to the soul, and that is absolutely true. So when you're in this position with your partner, and you're looking into each other's eyes, there is no there's nowhere to hide, right? And so a lot of things start to come up for you. And at first you're kind of you feel maybe a little silly, a little giggly, then you start to go through this flirting phase, right? And so when I was learning how to do this, like, I was making what I call googly eyes at my teacher, and it was funny because, like, you kind of go through that until you get into the space where you start to feel comfortable. And when your energy starts to settle down, and you will notice, especially if you are good at breathing, if you've developed, a lot of people don't breathe. Like, oh my goodness, a lot of people do not know how to breathe. And you can always tell, I mean, this is another topic for another day, but you can always tell if you are intimate with your partner whether or not they know how to breathe by how they orgasm. Because when you inhale, you should be inhaling fully and deeply. And I know we've talked about this before, ladies, but you should be inhaling fully and deeply. When you inhale, you're taking in energy, right? You are taking energy into your body, and you're breathing that down through the front of your body. And as you exhale, that energy is coming out of the back of your body, and it's creating a circuit, right? So when you have these slow, deep breaths, it creates an energetic flow in your body versus someone who breathes really, really, really fast, really, really shallow. It's like, I'm sure we've all been in intimate situations where you're doing that or your partner is doing that. And that is something that, especially for men, it can cause premature ejaculation, and very shallow orgasms in women. So if any of you are having problems with accessing G-spot orgasms, control your breath. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, when you are in that position and you start to breathe deeply and you are looking at your partner in the eye and you're connecting with them, and you will notice that your breathing starts to sync up. And as your breathing starts to sync up, you become more calm and your connection intensifies, right? And so you kind of let go of that giddiness, that flirtatious energy that you may have while you're connecting with your partner, and you will start to see them. What happens for a lot of people, and when I first started doing this exercise, what happened with me is that I would start to kind of get nervous because I wasn't really ready for that level of intimacy. But when you are connecting with someone like that, everything else goes away. So you're not paying, there's no TV, there are no cell phones, none of that stuff is going on. And you tune out the rest of the environment. Everything else that's going on in the background, you tune that out. And all you're able to notice and focus on at that point is your partner. And you start to see them in a very clear way, very clearly. But they also get to see you very clearly. And so I know that we've talked about in the group our sensual practice, our solo sexual practice, and I talk about that with you a lot. One of the reasons why I encourage you all to have a solo sex practice is because it creates a knowing within yourself, and it creates confidence. Even outside of your sexual response, it creates a level of confidence and a level of knowing in yourself. So when you have that level of knowing, that level of comfort with yourself, you are able to bring that energy to your partner when you're in a lovemaking situation, right? And so when you're in this soul gazing space, all of the things that you've been practicing, all of the things that you haven't been practicing, the way that you feel about yourself, the things that your most deeply rooted beliefs will start to come up. And they can be a little upsetting especially if you and your partner have never connected in this way before, or it's been a really long time since you have, you will start to notice that things come up for them, and it may start to feel uncomfortable because you haven't connected in this way before, or it's been such a long time since you have. It can be difficult. What I really encourage you to do is that even though that may come up for you, to still continue gazing in your with your partner. Continue the soul gaze. Continue looking them in the eye, because once everything that comes up is natural, and things will start to come up, and as they come out, you can release them. And depending on where you are in your relationship with your partner, that may show up as tears, right? That may show up as uneasiness, and you have to flow with it. And it's not going to be perfect the first time. I really believe that whatever shows up is perfect for you in that moment. So I don't want you to think about, when you start trying this, what it's supposed to be like. It's not supposed to be like anything other than what it is for you in that moment. So I encourage you to stick with the gazing as those emotions come up and you release them. And this is where your breath comes in. As you are breathing, and it's a slow, steady breathe. It's a 4-count breath. So you're inhaling for 4 counts, you hold it for 2 counts, and then you release it for 4 counts. And as you do this, all of those emotions, all those things will start to come up and subside. And once that happens, once you get into that sense of calm, I guess is a good way to describe it. Once that starts to happen, you will notice that your sexual energy will start to come into play between you and your partner. And you will notice that you start to see them in a completely different way. You will start to, especially as your breathing sinks, your breathing is sinking, your heart rate starts to sink, and you all will actually meld together. Even though you're really not touching except for looking at each other in the eye. That's the only way that you're really touching aside from that position. But you'll start to notice that your connection deepens with your partner. And from there, so I'm gonna give you something that I normally just say for my clients that I'm gonna share with you all. When you're in that space and you're connected and he's looking at you and you're looking at him, you'll start to see them in a way that you may not have seen them before. And that's a good thing. And what you want to do is you want to notice whatever it is that you notice about them, and then you tell them. You tell them, babe, your eyes, are so beautiful. I never realized how deep and dark they are and how they sparkle. You tell him that. And it alternates. So once you say something about him, he may say something about you. It could be about your lips. It could be about your hair. It could be about your breasts. It could be about whatever it is that he's feeling at that moment. You allow him to say whatever it is that he's thinking. And your only response to him is, thank you. When you say whatever it is that you're noticing about him, his only response to you is thank you. That's it. You don't say anything else. You don't have to ask for anything else from him. He doesn't have to say anything, explain anything else. It's simply thank you. And he may say you're welcome. And then you say whatever it is that you notice about him in that moment. And that deepens your level of connection and your intimacy with your partner as you start to do that. And then what you can do as you start to say these things back and forth is then you ask for permission to touch, right? And how often when we are with our romantic partners that we've been with for, however many years we've been together, when is the last time you asked your husband, could you touch him wherever it is that you want to touch him? When is the last time he asked you for permission to touch you? When's the last time he said, you know, honey, can I touch your shoulder? Or, honey, can I touch your waist? Honey, can I touch your ass? Like whatever it is. When is the last time he asked permission to do that? And you can say yes or you could say no. It's completely up to you. And depending on the energy between the two of you, this can take on, it can kind of grow into a more flirtatious energy. It can ramp things up and become more sexual. When I've done it with my partners, it starts to like skyrocket our sexual tension. And next thing you know, we are making love and it's amazing. So I definitely want you all to try that, to start with sitting in the yab young position, soul gazing, noticing each other, syncing your breath, allowing that energy to connect. And then once that is happening, then you start to speak life into your partner and notice the beautiful things about him or her. And then you receive that from your partner as well. So let's see. Yes, Dawn. Most people don't. I don't think I have ever asked for permission prior to taking my tantra workshops. I don't think I ever asked for permission. It never occurred to me. It's like, this is my lover. I can touch them if I want to, right? I can touch them wherever I want. But when you start to ask permission, I think especially for women, it's incredibly powerful because a lot of times we may not have that feeling that we're in full control of sexual situations. And so it can be that we are taking some of that power back for ourselves in that moment, whether we've experienced it with our current partner or with another one. That can be very healing within itself, is to start to ask permission and to give permission. And I think it's really important that when you introduce that part of the play with each other, that you there are no expectations, right? Because you really don't have ownership of your partner or your lover. Their body, their person is their own. It's something that they are sharing with you, but it doesn't belong to you, right? And that's another conversation that I was on Facebook and I was talking with one of my friends who's married, and she was in this thread and they were talking about sexuality, how she only feels like her sexuality is for her husband. We were talking about self-pleasure and masturbation. She's like, I am not comfortable doing that because I only want to do that with my husband. And I'm like, but your sexuality is yours. You're sharing it with him, but it doesn't belong to him. But that's a whole other conversation. But back to the soul gazing. Once you like start to make that connection, and you'll see that it grows. And this isn't something that you may be comfortable with the first time that you're doing it. Like the first few times that I did it, it was like, what is going on? Like I started to freak out because you are really like dropping all pretense. You cannot hide, like there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. So you absolutely have to be ready, and you can open up gradually. So this is something that I definitely want you all to try with your partners. Try the soul gazing. Try sitting in that position. That yab young position really ramps up the intimacy as well in your connection. So that's what I wanted to share with you all today. Does anyone have any questions? And what I'll do is I'll find, I think I have a picture somewhere of the yab young position, and I will share that. I'll post that maybe in the comments to this video. I don't know if I can add a picture in it, but I'll share in the comments to the video a picture of that so you can see the position, so you can have a better idea of how you should position your bodies when you're doing this. So does anyone have any questions for me? And again, those of you who are catching this on the replay, pop your questions below and I will pop back in later as soon as I can to answer those. Okay, so should music be playing or stay in silence? That's a great question, Dawn. I am a huge believer in setting the mood. I think that, and I was talking with one of my clients over the weekend about this, I really believe that when you set the mood for this, that it kind of puts you, like music taps into your emotions. So absolutely, if you want to play music, play music. That album that you shared with me yesterday would be great for this. And there are a couple, if you follow me on YouTube, I have a couple of playlists, bedroom playlists that I found that are awesome as well for creating mood. So definitely, if you want to have music, absolutely have music, because it can play into the energy of what's going on. So yeah. And Melanie says, I always wanted to try the sitting position, didn't know it had a name. Yes, it has a name. It's a tantra position called Yabyan. Yeah. So definitely try to do that. And you know, you can kind of modify that position. Some people start in that position. I've started in that position and ended up making love in that position, because you can get close where the woman is on top and actually sitting on the man's lap. And that's a super intimate position, but it also provides a lot of control for the ladies, especially for those of us who may have issues reaching orgasm. That position puts you in a prime space for positioning his penis as well as your pelvic bones, so that they can make contact with your clitoris as well as your G-spot. So that's definitely something to try as well. So that's an awesome position to do when you're soul gazing. So yeah, I'll try to find a picture of that and post it. Do anybody else have any other questions or comments for me today? Let's see here. And I forgot my iPad. I left that upstairs. Because yes, Melanie, it is super awesome. So hopefully I'm seeing everyone. If I missed you, I'll check in a second and take a look at that. But thanks you all for hanging out with me tonight. And I'll talk to you soon. All right, have a good evening. Bye.